Good evening, dear listener, and a warm welcome to this sound sanctuary, a space crafted just for you, where the day's worries dissolve and serenity finds a home. Tonight, I invite you to settle in, to find that perfectly comfortable position in your bed, and allow my voice to be the beacon, gently guiding you through the mists of tiredness toward deep, restorative rest. Let the sounds around you fade, the lights dim, and your attention turn inward to the stillness that resides within your being. We are about to embark on a journey, not just of relaxation, but also a voyage through imagination, exploring the veils of time and mystery. Breathe in deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, release any tension, any lingering trace of restlessness. Feel how, with each breath, you become a little lighter, a little more present in this moment of tranquility we've prepared for you. Our story tonight, the tale that will cradle your sleep, will take us to a distant past, an echo whispered by the waves of time, the history and mystery of the Lost Continent of Lemuria. Together, we'll navigate its supposed origins, delve into the legends that shroud it like an ancient mist, and touch upon the spiritual beliefs that keep it alive in the hearts of many. We will also explore the scientific perspectives that once sought to give shape to this enigmatic land. Our aim, as we unravel the secrets of Lemuria, is to weave a veil of calm and fascination, a tapestry of images and ideas that will not only intrigue your mind, but above all, invite it to quiet down, to surrender to rest, inducing a peaceful and restorative sleep. Let curiosity be your companion, but let comfort be your primary guide as we unveil the mysteries of this legendary land, preparing the ground for a serene and profound slumber. And before we dive into the depths of this ancient narrative, let's dedicate a few precious moments to prepare our body and mind, creating a sanctuary of inner peace. I invite you to gently close your eyes, if you haven't already, and bring your awareness to the very tips of your toes. Feel them. Perhaps you notice a slight tingling, or just the sensation of the fabric covering them. Now imagine a wave of relaxation beginning right there in your toes and slowly rising like warm, soothing water, enveloping your ankles, dissolving any stiffness. Allow this pleasant sensation to continue its upward journey, reaching your calves, feeling the muscles. Loosen, letting go. The wave of tranquility climbs to your knees, releasing any point of tension, and continues up through your thighs, feeling their weight on the surface beneath you, completely relaxed, heavy, and comfortable. Feel your hips now loosening, your lower back settling more deeply, releasing the weight of the day. A gentle wave of relaxation continues to spread, now enveloping your abdomen. Feel how it rises and falls softly with your breath, ever calmer, ever more serene. Allow this sense of peace to rise into your chest, creating space, releasing any tightness as your heart beats in a calm, steady rhythm. Now direct your attention to your shoulders. We often carry the weight of the world on our shoulders without realizing it. Right now, consciously let them drop, release them. Imagine all the accumulated tension simply melting away like water. Feel this freedom extend down your arms, through your elbows, forearms, all the way to your hands. Notice your hands, perhaps resting by your sides or on your body, and allow your fingers to also soften, relaxed, open, or gently curved, completely at peace, heavy, and surrendered to rest. Finally, the wave of warmth and relaxation reaches your neck. Feel the muscles of your neck gently lengthen, releasing any trace of tension that might have gathered there, allowing your head to rest comfortably. Now, bring this sensation to your face. Relax your jaw, letting your teeth part slightly. Soften your forehead, smoothing away any lines of worry. Feel your eyelids heavy, resting gently over your eyes and the small muscles around your eyes. Also surrendering to relaxation. Your entire body, from head to toe, is now in a state of deep tranquility and comfort. And just as your body is quieted, allow your mind to also become serene. Thoughts may arise, and that's natural. Simply observe them like passing clouds in the sky of your mind, without holding on to any one of them. Now, with your body light and your mind serene, we are ready to embark together on the exploration of the enigmatic Lost Continent of Lemuria. Let yourself be carried away. We now enter the heart of our story, the realm of Lemuria. Imagine, if you will, a vast continent bathed in ancestral suns, a place of indescribable beauty and profound mysteries, now resting silently beneath the blue waves of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Lemuria is not just a name on ancient maps or an echo in forgotten legends. It is a concept that evokes a primordial civilization, a cradle of wisdom and spirituality that, according to the narratives, tragically disappeared, leaving behind only whispers and fragments of a glorious past. Unlike its more famous sibling, Atlantis, whose fame rests primarily on Plato's dialogues, Lemuria has a curious origin, first arising within 19th century science, before being adorned with the veils of myth and occultism, becoming a powerful symbol of a lost world and of human potential yet to be rediscovered. Humankind carries within an almost innate fascination with lost lands, with worlds that have vanished beneath the sands of time or the depths of the sea. Names like Lemuria, Atlantis, Mu, Hyperborea resonate like invitations to a journey through imagination, suggesting that human history is far richer, more magical, and more deeply connected than conventional records tell us. These legends fuel an inherent search for meaning, for our most remote origins, and for the ancestral wisdom we believe was lost with these civilizations. They offer us the possibility of a past where harmony with nature was complete, where spiritual knowledge transcended the material, and where human beings possessed abilities now considered extraordinary. It is a yearning for a missing link, not just evolutionary, but also spiritual and existential, connecting us to something greater. Lemuria, in particular, holds a unique place in this pantheon of vanished worlds. Its story is an intriguing tapestry, where threads of scientific reason intertwine with those of the deepest mysticism. As we mentioned, its genesis was not an epic poem or a philosophical dialogue, but a scientific hypothesis, an attempt to explain a biological puzzle. This origin lends Lemuria a peculiar aura, a bridge between what we consider rational and what we explore as mystical. It invites us to move between the geological and the metaphysical, between tangible evidence and spiritual intuition. It is this duality that makes Lemuria so captivating, allowing each of us to ponder its existence in distinct ways, whether as a scientific curiosity of a bygone era or as a spiritual truth awaiting full understanding. As we contemplate Lemuria, we are not just looking at a supposed submerged continent. We are, in a way, looking into a mirror of our own longings and hopes. The idea of an ancient civilization, highly evolved spiritually and living in harmony, serves as a powerful archetype. It represents an idealized past, perhaps a golden age, from which we have strayed, and to which, secretly, we wish to return, or at least to reclaim its fundamental principles. The legends of Lemuria, with its telepathic inhabitants and their connection to Earth's energies, paint a picture of human potential that transcends the limitations we often impose upon ourselves. This appeal resonates deeply within our collective psyche, offering a counterpoint to the sometimes disenchanted narrative of modernity and purely material progress. Therefore, as we delve deeper into the saga of Lemuria, I invite you to keep an open mind and a receptive heart. This is not about imposing a belief, but about exploring the layers of meaning that this legend carries. Allow yourself to journey through these ideas, to feel the resonance they may have with your own search for connection and understanding. May the story of Lemuria serve as a backdrop for your dreams, a place where the possible and the imagined meet. Let the idea of a lost world, rich in wisdom and beauty, soothe your thoughts and prepare you for a sleep where the boundaries of reality become more fluid, and where the mind can wander freely through landscapes both known and unknown, finding peace and inspiration. Our journey through the mists of Lemuria now takes us to a surprising starting point: the world of Victorian science. In the mid-19th century, specifically in 1864, the British zoologist Philip Lutley Sclater encountered an intriguing biological enigma. He observed the presence of lemur fossils and related species in Madagascar and India, but curiously, these same primates were absent in continental Africa and the Middle East, geographically intermediate regions. To explain this peculiar distribution, Sclater proposed the existence of a vast landmass, a land bridge, or even a continent that would have stretched across the Indian Ocean, connecting these distant regions. It was he who coined the name Lemuria for this hypothetical land, in honor of the very lemurs that inspired his theory, envisioning it as the pathway that allowed these creatures to migrate. The seed planted by Sclater soon found fertile ground in the minds of other prominent scientists of the era. One of them was the influential German biologist Ernst Haeckel, a fervent supporter of Charles Darwin's theories. Haeckel not only adopted the idea of Lemuria, but significantly expanded it, elevating it from a simple migration route to a stage of crucial importance in the history of life on Earth. He speculated that Lemuria might have been the very cradle of humanity, the place where the first human ancestors evolved, the home of the much sought-after missing link between apes and man. This association with human origins gave the Lemuria hypothesis considerable scientific authority and even greater popular appeal, capturing the imagination of an era fascinated by the grand questions of evolution and the deep past. It's crucial to understand the scientific context in which these ideas flourished. In the 19th century, the theory of continental drift, which today explains how continents move and separate, had not yet been proposed or accepted. Scientists of the time, when faced with similar species on continents separated by vast oceans, often resorted to the hypothesis of submerged land bridges to explain these distribution patterns. Lemuria, therefore, was not an isolated or eccentric idea. It fit within a prevailing scientific paradigm that sought explanations for the mysteries of biogeography. These land bridges were seen as logical solutions to the puzzles of plant and animal distribution around the globe, before the dynamics of tectonic plates offered a new and revolutionary understanding. Although the hypothesis of Lemuria gained strength and respectability in its time, based on the best available observations and theories, it reflected the limitations of geological and biological knowledge of that era. The idea of an entire continent sinking into the ocean, though popular, would begin to face skepticism as geology progressed. Later, with the development and acceptance of the theory of plate tectonics in the 20th century, the concept of Lemuria as a submerged continental landmass in the Indian Ocean became scientifically untenable. Modern geology and oceanography would provide alternative and more robust explanations for the distribution of lemurs and other species, as we will see, closing Lemuria's scientific chapter, but paradoxically opening the doors to its extraordinary transformation. Thus, we see Lemuria born from a scientific need to explain the natural world, an ingenious hypothesis for its time. It was a concept that, for a while, seemed to offer plausible answers to complex questions about life on Earth and our own origins. However, as science advanced, new theories and evidence emerged, and the space for Lemuria on the scientific map began to shrink. But like a seed carried by the wind to unexpected soil, the idea of Lemuria would not disappear. Instead, it was about to be rediscovered and reimagined in a completely different way, migrating from the domain of zoology and geology to the much more ethereal realms of spirituality and occultism, where it would find a new and lasting life. This is the turning point in our story. The story of Lemuria takes a fascinating turn in the late 19th century, when the scientific hypothesis, already losing steam in academic circles, was rescued and radically transformed by figures in the emerging spiritualist movement. The chief architect of this metamorphosis was Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the charismatic and controversial co-founder of the Theosophical Society. In her monumental work, The Secret Doctrine, published in 1888, Blavatsky took the name Lemuria and infused it with an entirely new and esoteric meaning. For her, Lemuria was not just a land bridge for lemurs, but the home of the third root race of humanity, proto-human beings of gigantic proportions, endowed with extraordinary psychic abilities, and, notably, possessing a functional third eye, a symbol of spiritual perception and clairvoyance. Blavatsky's vision opened the floodgates for a torrent of mystical elaborations on Lemuria and its inhabitants. Other thinkers and occultists of the period expanded and adapted these ideas. James Churchward, for example, popularized the concept of a similar lost continent in the Pacific named Mu, whose characteristics and fate often intertwined with Lemuria's in esoteric narratives. Rudolf Steiner, the Austrian philosopher and founder of anthroposophy, also incorporated Lemuria into his cosmological teachings. Steiner described Lemurians as beings with a consciousness very different from ours, possessing innate magical abilities, such as the power to manipulate vital ethereal forces and to communicate intuitively with the plant kingdom, living in a dreamlike state and in deep connection with the forces of nature. These mystical traditions painted a vivid picture of the Lemurians. They were often described as beings of great stature, with bodies less dense than current humans, living in harmony with nature and the cosmos. Their connection to subtle energies was paramount, and the legendary third eye was not just a physical organ, but an energy center, a chakra that granted them perception of auras, telepathy, and an intuitive understanding of universal laws. They were believed to live in tune with planetary energies and Earth's ley lines, using this knowledge to create a spiritually advanced civilization. They were seen as guardians of primordial wisdom, a race that existed in a state of grace and unity before an eventual decline or transformation. The mystical legacy of Lemuria was not confined to ancient texts. It manifests today through supposed tangible connections and contemporary spiritual practices. A prominent example is the so-called Lemurian seed crystals, quartz crystals with horizontal striations that, according to adherents, were programmed by ancient Lemurians with their knowledge and wisdom, serving as information storage devices to be discovered by future generations. Furthermore, the practice of channeling, where individuals claim to receive messages from Lemurian beings or consciousnesses, has become popular. These channelings often describe Lemurians as now existing on higher vibrational planes or in subterranean cities of light, continuing to guide and support humanity's spiritual evolution. Thus, the Lemuria that began as an explanation for primate distribution was radically transformed. It ceased to be a geographical postulate and became a potent symbol of a lost spiritual past and a potential future of enlightenment. The narrative of Lemuria, enriched by theosophical and occult imagination, offered an alternative to purely materialistic accounts of human history, infusing it with magic, cosmic purpose, and the promise of recoverable ancestral wisdoms. This mythical Lemuria, with its ethereal inhabitants and advanced psychic capacities, continues to inspire and intrigue, existing as a beacon for those seeking a deeper connection with the mysteries of existence and the unseen dimensions of reality. An invitation to look beyond the veil of the ordinary, the grandeur and wisdom attributed to the mythical Lemuria are often accompanied by narratives of its tragic destruction. In Helena Blavatsky's theosophical views, the end of Lemuria was not a mere geological accident, but a cosmic necessity, a karmic event triggered by the gradual spiritual decline of its inhabitants. She suggested that, over time, part of the Lemurian race began to abuse their psychic powers and become spiritually corrupted, straying from divine laws. Rudolf Steiner, in his elaborations, deepened this idea, describing how the Lemurians, initially pure and connected to divine will, began to develop egocentric desires and a self-will that conflicted with cosmic order. This moral fall, this disconnection from higher principles, would have sealed the continent's fate. Descriptions of Lemuria's destruction are often apocalyptic, evoking images of natural cataclysms of epic proportions. Accounts speak of violent volcanic eruptions that tore the land apart, earthquakes that shook its foundations, and finally, the slow or sudden sinking of the continent beneath the ocean waves. Fire and water are recurring elements in these narratives, symbolizing purification and dissolution. However, amidst this scene of devastation, many traditions claim that not all was lost. It is believed that the most spiritually advanced Lemurian masters, those who remained true to the highest principles, foresaw the impending catastrophe. These sages would have taken measures to preserve their knowledge and lineage, establishing safe colonies in other parts of the world, or according to some interpretations, ascending to other dimensions or planes of existence. The story of Lemuria's fall resonates deeply as a moral parable, a cautionary tale echoing through the ages. It suggests that the fate of any civilization, no matter how advanced or powerful it may seem, is intrinsically linked to its relationship with ethical, spiritual principles and the natural laws of the universe. Pride, selfishness, and the misuse of knowledge or power are presented as the seeds of self-destruction. In this sense, Lemuria serves as a reminder that true progress is not just technological or material, but also, and perhaps primarily, spiritual and moral. The narrative of its destruction invites us to reflect on the choices we make as individuals and as a society, and on the consequences of disconnecting from deeper wisdom and a higher purpose. For many who embrace Lemuria's existence, its rise and fall represent a crucial, though largely lost or forgotten, chapter in the long journey of human spiritual evolution. It's not just about the loss of a landmass, but the loss of a state of consciousness, a way of being that was more integrated and harmonious. Lemuria's destruction, in this context, marks a turning point, perhaps the beginning of a cycle where humanity would need to rediscover, through many ages and trials, the wisdom and unity that were lost. The implicit hope in these narratives is that by understanding the lessons of Lemuria's fall, we can avoid repeating the same mistakes and eventually reclaim or co-create a future that embodies the best aspects of that idealized past. The symbolism of Lemuria's destruction is rich and multifaceted. It speaks to the eternal cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution that permeates many cosmologies. The sinking of the continent can be seen as a metaphor for diving into the unconscious, where deep truths and ancient memories reside, waiting to be brought to light. The survival of the sages and the preservation of knowledge suggest the indestructibility of true wisdom and the continuity of the spiritual quest, even in the face of catastrophe. Thus, the story of Lemuria's destruction, though tragic also, carries seeds of hope and renewal, reminding us that even from the rubble of a lost world, new forms of life and consciousness can emerge, and that the search for the sacred is a flame that persists through the ages. The legend of Lemuria did not remain confined to ancient esoteric texts. It found fertile ground in the modern imagination, giving rise to new narratives and sacred sites. One of the most prominent and fascinating beliefs is that survivors of the Lemurian catastrophe established a highly advanced subterranean city called Telos. This refuge, according to proponents, is located beneath or within the majestic Mount Shasta, a dormant volcano in Northern California, already considered by many a powerful spiritual vortex. The idea was popularized in the early 20th century by Frederick Spencer Oliver in his book, A Dweller on Two Planets, and has since been sustained and expanded by countless reports of mysterious encounters, visions of luminous beings, and the Majoj perception of a crystal city pulsing with energy beneath the sacred mountain. The narrative of Lemuria and its survivors in Telos often intertwines with a broader spectrum of alternative theories and fringe speculation. It is frequently associated with hollow earth theory, which posits that our planet's interior is not solid, but hollow, harboring subterranean civilizations, ecosystems, and even a central sun. Furthermore, the idea of underground cities like Telos connects to beliefs in vast networks of tunnels interlinking sacred sites around the globe, supposedly built by ancient civilizations or even non-human beings. Some strands also link Lemurians to extraterrestrial theories, suggesting they were seeded on Earth by benevolent star races, or that the most advanced survivors escaped the continent's destruction by traveling to other planets or star systems. There's mystery and lost knowledge. Conspiracy theories often find a home. Lemuria is no exception. Some conspiratorial narratives suggest that world governments and secret intelligence agencies not only know the truth about the existence of Lemuria and its descendants in Telos, but actively conceal this information from the general public. The motive for such a cover-up varies. Some believe it's to prevent panic or societal destabilization. Others that it's to maintain control over advanced technologies or spiritual knowledge that could empower humanity and challenge existing power structures. It's alleged that recovered Lemurian artifacts are hidden in secret vaults, and that any emerging evidence is quickly suppressed or discredited. In many currents of contemporary New Age spirituality, Lemurians, or Telosians as their descendants, are sometimes are seen as highly spiritually evolved beings who act as guides and guardians for Earth and humanity. They are believed to work from higher vibrational planes or their subterranean cities of light to help elevate planetary consciousness, especially during times of great transformation. They are often described as loving, peaceful beings possessing great wisdom about healing, harmony with nature, and human divine potential. Many individuals report experiences of telepathic contact or vivid dreams with these beings, receiving guidance, comfort, and inspiration for their own spiritual journeys and for contributing to a more positive future for the planet. The fascination with Lemuria and its modern offshoots remains strong in the digital age, finding expression in online forums, social media, and a vast range of spiritual literature and workshops. The internet has facilitated the spread of these ideas, connecting like-minded people around the world and allowing new interpretations and supposed evidence to be shared rapidly. This persistence demonstrates the deep human yearning for narratives that offer a more profound sense of history, suggest the existence of hidden realities, and promise access to lost wisdom or benevolent beings. Lemuria, in its various modern incarnations, continues to serve as a powerful symbol of hope, mystery, and the unceasing search for connection with something greater than ourselves. While the mythical and spiritual narratives of Lemuria continue to flourish, the modern scientific perspective offers a very different explanation for the phenomena that originally inspired its hypothesis. The great revolution in 20th century geology was the acceptance and substantiation of the theory of plate tectonics. This fundamental theory explains that the Earth's surface is composed of several rigid plates that float on the semi-fluid mantle beneath them, moving slowly over vast timescales. Continental crust, where land masses are situated, is significantly less dense than oceanic crust. For this reason, continents do not sink into the mantle in the way a lost continent like Lemuria would have to in order to disappear. They can collide, separate, erode, but not simply submerge into the ocean depths. With the advent of advanced seafloor mapping technologies, such as sonar and satellite remote sensing, scientists have been able to examine in detail the topography of the Indian Ocean, the region where Lemuria was originally proposed. Extensive geological and oceanographic surveys have been conducted over decades. These investigations have revealed no evidence of a large, sunken continental landmass that could correspond to the description of Lemuria. Instead, the Indian Ocean. Floor exhibits features typical of oceanic crust, such as mid-ocean ridges, abyssal plains, and volcanic seamounts. The geological patterns observed confirm the gradual separation of continents, such as India breaking away from Madagascar and Africa, and moving northward to collide with Asia, a process explained by plate tectonics. Modern science also offers robust explanations for the intriguing distribution of species, like the lemurs, that originally led Philip Sclater to propose Lemuria. Continental drift is the primary one. Madagascar, India, and other landmasses were once connected in the supercontinent Gondwana. As Gondwana fragmented and the continents moved to their current positions, they carried their faunas and floras with them, which then evolved in isolation. Furthermore, changes in sea levels throughout geological eras exposed and submerged temporary land bridges in some areas. The dispersal of species by natural rafts, such as floating vegetation, carrying small animals across stretches of ocean, is also a recognized mechanism. These factors, combined, explain biogeographical patterns without needing to invoke a lost continent. It's important to note that science does recognize the existence of real lost lands, but these are of a very different nature from the mythical concept of Lemuria. During ice ages, for example, large amounts of water were locked up in glaciers, causing global sea levels to be significantly lower. This exposed vast areas of continental shelf that are now submerged. Examples include Doggerland, an area that connected Great Britain to continental Europe in the North Sea, and Beringia, the land bridge between Asia and North America. These lands were inhabited by humans and animals, but were gradually inundated as glaciers melted and sea levels rose. They are lost in the sense of being submerged, but their existence is geologically understood and does not involve the sinking of entire continents. Therefore, from the standpoint of modern geology and biology, the scientific consensus is that Lemuria, as a physically existing continent that sank in the Indian Ocean, has no factual basis. The evidence that supported its hypothesis in the 19th century has been superseded by a much more complete understanding of Earth's dynamics and the history of life. While science dismisses the geographical Lemuria, this does not diminish the power or significance the concept has acquired in other domains of human thought. The journey of Lemuria, from scientific hypothesis to mythical archetype, is itself a fascinating story about how ideas evolve and transform, and how the search for answers can lead down unexpected paths, both in science and imagination. Science offers its explanations, while myth continues to nourish other yearnings of the soul. Despite its scientific refutation as a geographical entity, the concept of Lemuria has left an indelible and lasting mark on popular culture and fiction. The idea of a lost continent, inhabited by beings with ancestral wisdom and mystical powers, has proven to be incredibly fertile ground for creative imagination. Authors of fiction, from the early 20th century to the present day, have woven Lemuria into their narratives. H.P. Lovecraft, master of cosmic horror, incorporated Lemuria into his Cthulhu mythos. Countless works of science fiction and fantasy have explored the theme, often blending its supposed scientific origins with fantastical elements, creating exotic worlds and enigmatic civilizations. Lemuria has also appeared in comic books, such as in Marvel comic storylines in films, television series, and documentaries dedicated to ancient mysteries, ensuring its continued presence in the collective consciousness. The persistent fascination with Lemuria lies, in large part, in its deep psychological appeal. Humanity seems to have an inherent attraction to the idea of golden ages, lost paradises, and ancestral wisdoms that have been forgotten or suppressed. Myths like the Garden of Eden, Atlantis, and of course, Lemuria, embody this yearning for a purer, more harmonious past, where humanity lived in a state of grace or possessed a deeper knowledge of the universe. These narratives offer a counterpoint to the complexities, challenges, and at times, the disenchantment of the modern world. They can provide alternative explanations for present difficulties, suggesting we have strayed from a better path, and simultaneously ignite the promise that this wisdom and harmony can be recovered or rediscovered, leading to a positive transformation. Some theorists and thinkers suggest that myths of lost lands like Lemuria may, in some cases, contain distorted cultural memories of real catastrophes that occurred in the distant past. Coastal floods, volcanic eruptions, or earthquakes that devastated ancient communities could have been transmitted orally through generations, gradually transforming into legends of entire continents disappearing. Alternatively, or complementarily, the creation of these myths may result from the fundamental human need to create narratives to make sense of the inexplicable, to organize our understanding of the world and our place in it. The stories of Lemuria, with its origins, its zenith, and its fall, provide a narrative framework that addresses profound existential questions about where we come from, what we are capable of, and where we might be headed. At the heart of Lemuria's psychological legacy is its function as a powerful symbol of human potential and the quest for connection. The descriptions of Lemurians as spiritually advanced, telepathic beings living in harmony with nature and the cosmos reflect an ideal of humanity that many aspire to achieve. The idea that such capabilities once existed, or that they can still be accessed, is profoundly inspiring. Lemuria invites us to consider that we are more than just physical beings, that we possess inner dimensions of great depth and power. It also speaks of a lost connection with the earth, with each other, and with the divine, whose restoration is seen by many as essential for individual and planetary healing. This longing for unity and transcendence is a powerful driver behind Lemuria's continued relevance. Ultimately, the legacy of Lemuria is that of a multifaceted mirror reflecting our fears, hopes, yearnings, and our inexhaustible capacity to imagine and seek meaning. Whether viewed as a discarded scientific hypothesis, an esoteric truth, a powerful metaphor, or simply a good story, Lemuria continues to captivate because it touches upon universal chords of human experience. It reminds us that the map of the known world does not always coincide with the map of our inner longings, and that often it is in the territories of imagination and myth that we find the landscapes that most deeply nourish our soul. The legacy of Lemuria is a testament to the persistence of mystery and the human search for a purpose that transcends the everyday. We arrive. Then, at the end of our nighttime exploration of the lost continent of Lemuria, we have journeyed through its scientific origins, its transformation into spiritual myth, the narratives of its destruction, and its persistent legacy. Lemuria remains an enduring myth, an idea existing in a fascinating space on the threshold between what we consider historical truth, largely dismissed by modern geology, and the boundless realm of fantasy and imagination. Its value, perhaps, lies not so much in its factual proof as a submerged landmass, but in its extraordinary ability to inspire, to deeply intrigue, and to raise fundamental questions about our origins, our potential as human beings, and the nature of reality itself. It is a story that refuses to disappear completely, echoing through the ages more than providing definitive answers. The saga of Lemuria invites us to appreciate the questions it raises and the myriad possibilities it suggests. It encourages us to ponder the vastness of geological time and the complex tapestry of life's evolution. It urges us to reflect on the nature of knowledge, how it is constructed, transmitted, and sometimes lost or reinterpreted. The story of Lemuria, in its various forms, challenges us to consider that there may be more to our collective history than what is immediately apparent or universally accepted. It is an invitation to maintain a curious mind and an open spirit, recognizing that mystery is an intrinsic part of the human experience, and that collective imagination is a powerful force, capable of shaping and giving meaning to our world. Remarkable how Lemuria continues to evolve and reinvent itself in the collective imagination. From a 19th century scientific hypothesis, it transformed into a pillar of esoteric traditions, a backdrop for fictional works, and a focal point for contemporary spiritual communities. This adaptability and persistence demonstrate the power of archetypes and narratives that touch upon universal human longings. The story of Lemuria is not static. It is a living organism, shaped and retold by each generation, reflecting the concerns, hopes, and search for meaning of its time. It serves as a testament to our need to create and share stories that connect us with a deeper past and a more promising future. Even if these realms exist primarily in the domain of spirit and mind, tonight, as you prepare to surrender to sleep, allow the idea of Lemuria to float gently in your thoughts, not as a geographical fact to be debated, but as a land in the geography of dreams. May it be a subtle reminder of the vast known and unknown chapters of the long and winding human journey through time. Think of it as a symbol of the unceasing search for wisdom, for connection, and for a deeper understanding of who we are and our place in the cosmos. May the stillness of this night bring with it the peace of accepting both what we know and what remains shrouded in mystery, finding comfort in the beauty of stories that inspire us to dream and to question. May the exploration of Lemuria, with its echoes of lost worlds and ancient wisdoms, have served as a gentle prelude to your rest. May the images and ideas shared here now dissolve into a sense of tranquility, making way for deep, restorative sleep. Lemuria, whether a real submerged continent, a powerful metaphor, or a product of fertile imagination, has fulfilled its role tonight to gently lead us to the threshold of the dream world. Let the calm that now envelops you be your guide, and may the mysteries of the universe, both unraveled and still hidden, inspire in you a profound sense of peace and wonder. The night's journey continues in the silence of your repose. And so, dear listener, our journey through the dreamlands of Lemuria gently comes to an end. Together, we have walked the paths of mystery, history, and imagination, seeking not only knowledge, but also the serenity that precedes rest. I sincerely hope that the words and landscapes evoked have served as a balm for your mind, a gentle invitation for the day's worries to dissipate like morning mist at sunrise. May the tranquility we sought to weave throughout this narrative have found a deep echo within your being, preparing the ground for truly peaceful and rejuvenating sleep. The night story quiets now, and silence invites Restad in this moment of stillness. I wish you a deep, uninterrupted, and incredibly restorative sleep. May your dreams be light, filled with images of peace and beauty, or perhaps by a comforting silence that allows your mind and body to fully recover from the day's activities. Let each exhalation carry away any residual tension, and let each inhalation bring an even greater sense of calm and relaxation. Allow yourself to sink comfortably into your bed, feeling the support and security it offers. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to think about, only to surrender to the gentle embrace of the night and the healing power of sleep. May peace be your constant companion until dawn. There's a special magic in stories told as night falls, an ancient tradition that soothes the spirit and prepares the soul for the world of dreams. They transport us to other times and places, allowing our conscious mind to rest while our imagination roams free. The story of Lemuria, with its mysteries and wonders, was our companion tonight, but it is just one among many that can lull us and lead us to rest. May you always find solace and tranquility in the art of storytelling and listening, and may they continue to be a source of comfort and inspiration in your life, especially in moments when you seek refuge and peace. And as you drift softly into sleep, know that this space of calm and storytelling will always be here to welcome you. I hope this experience has been pleasant and beneficial, and I extend an invitation for us to meet again soon, to explore together other tales, other mysteries, other soundscapes designed to induce a peaceful and profound sleep. Each night offers a new opportunity for a new story, a new journey of relaxation. Until then, may your gaze be full and your nights deeply restful. Thank you so much for your company and for allowing me to guide you to this moment of peace. Now, I bid you a gentle farewell, leaving you in the company of silence and the promise of a new day that will come after a well-deserved rest. May the darkness of night be a protective cloak, and may the stars, even if unseen, watch over your sleep. May Lemuria and all its mysteries transform into serene dreams or simply dissolve into the quietude of your slumbering mind. Sleep well, rest deeply, and may your dreams be sweet and filled with peace. Until our next story, good night.